So if you saw last week's video, we actually ran an ad on one of our videos for a company called Zoombang. Now, technically we were supposed to have this video out before that ad went live, but USPS lost all of our stuff, which is pretty typical for us. So that's why this is actually coming out after the fact. So like we do when we're gonna work with any company, we wanna be totally transparent with you guys about what they sell and why we decide to partner with them. So today we're gonna be explaining and looking at the company, Zoombang. We're gonna look at who they are, why we decided to work with them, and most importantly, why it matters to you. And spoiler, we wouldn't work with them if we didn't think they could be a good fit for you as a football player. All right, let's start with who they are. So Zoombang is essentially a company that specializes in dispersing impact is the simplest way I'd put it. And somehow this actually started out as a military company. So what they made first is this ballistics layer that you put on underneath a Kevlar vest. Now, if you get shot with a bullet and you are wearing a Kevlar vest, apparently the purpose of the Kevlar vest is supposed to stop the bullet from going into you, but it does not stop that energy from being transferred to you, which is how you get these people that get shot at and get these massive bruises. Zoombang's ballistic vest goes underneath that and is supposed to disperse that energy. So the Kevlar stops the bullet, the Zoombang takes in the impact and prevents you from getting bruised or hurt in any other way, cracked ribs, all that kind of stuff. And if you think about it, that's a very, very simple technology that you can port over to contact sports like super easy. All you're basically doing is replacing a Kevlar vest with a pair of shoulder pads and then a bullet with Fred Warner. But like I said, they took that technology and then because of it, they now sell football products. And essentially right now they sell two different products in a bunch of different variations. They sell tops and they sell bottoms. Now the tops are basically a base layer that you put underneath your shoulder pads that have pads in various spots where you're gonna be known to taking more impact. So a lot of them have it where you have the pads on top of the shoulders that go underneath your shoulder pads. They have rib protectors built in, which is why it's popular with quarterbacks. And they also have other models that have a chest protector as well for that middle of your chest. Now the bottoms are gonna look really similar to your standard girdle. So they have hip pads on both sides, a tail pad on the back, and then two thigh pads without knee pads. When you look at this on camera, you can't tell, but in person, it's actually a pretty heavy material that you're putting on your body. As far as the density goes, I would consider this closer to like a rubber-like substance as far as like the density and weight versus like a traditional girdle, which is just like standard padded foam. So yes, it is a lot heavier, but once you are wearing it, you don't really notice that. And at the same time, it does so much more on the protection front, so it makes sense. Now, as far as the tops versus the bottoms, obviously they probably don't have any patents or trademarks or any of that kind of stuff on that. What they do have is this, and that's gonna be what they're basically building their entire platform on. Now, this material here is called our viscoelastic polymer, and it's basically like this soft material that's meant to conform to any shape of your body. So it basically rolls around your thighs and your shoulders and your hips. And upon impact, the molecules kind of stiffen and lock together to disperse the energy. So it kind of pushes in like that. And then over time, it relaxes back to its original state. So yeah, it is technically like a stiffer material than like a foam. But at the same time, like I said, when you put it on, you still have full mobility. You can still move around. You can still do everything that you would normally do. If you like hold one product in your hands versus another one, this one does feel a little bit heavier. Having said that, once it gets on your body and you're used to it, it feels no different. Anyway, so that's how it worked. This is why we've partnered with them. Now, we consider ourselves to be experts on football equipment, and that doesn't mean just talking about the football drip. We can't just talk about cleats and gloves, or we can't just talk about helmets or headgear or any of that kind of stuff. We have to talk about everything football related to be experts in this space, and that includes different safety products that we think players and parents should be looking at. And again, I don't want to toot our own horn about our audience and yada, 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 but a lot of parents do come to us for advice on things like shoulder pads and helmets. And for those people, they care way more about the safety than they do the drip. So we got to make sure that we understand the drip side for all the current players. We understand the safety side for the players and the parents. Anyways, that's one. Number two is we love the people over there and we've loved working with them so far. And number three, obviously we think that they make a genuinely good product that we think has a place in the current landscape of tackle football, but also in the growing landscape of flag football. Here's why I think you care. I think 7-on-7 and different flag leagues are a good thing that players should be doing in the offseason to keep up their cardio, work on their route running, and all that kind of stuff. However, really the only safety precautions that flag players take right now are going to be some form of soft shell helmet like Unequal Tech, Zenith, Guardian Cap, any of that kind of stuff. That's the only safety thing people are really worried about right now is their head. But I think people are going to start to look to other padded options to go on parts of their body that they're used to wearing underneath football stuff, hence padded shirts and padded girdles. And I also think players are going to be looking for stuff like that they can make sure they can wear on 7-on-7, but also make sure that they can wear underneath their pads currently, so they have their same base layer that they're wearing all year round, and then they're adding a little extra protection on top of that for the tackle football season. Now, the big elephant in the room and one of the products that this company makes is last year when Demar Hamlin got hit in the chest, his chest protection did not absorb the impact properly. It passed through and made his heart stop, and I'm not going to go deep into that because we all know that story. Now the reality is this gave a lot of parents a scare because with football they've been focusing so much on head injuries, they haven't thought about these chest injuries that apparently can happen, but they can also happen in baseball, hockey, football, like they can happen in a lot of different places, and it made a lot of parents start looking at the other safety options. Now Zoombang actually had this product out before that happened, but if you look at it, you can see on their chesting it actually has different patterns in it that go protect directly over the heart. See how that pattern is like slightly off center to where your heart is? And again, this is one of the reasons why we really like the people over there, is they could have done a massive marketing push around this saying Zoombang could have protected Demar or any of that kind of stuff, saying, you know, we should be the leader in this, we have the gear that protects people's chests. This could be a massive marketing push for them. But they didn't do that because they didn't want to profit off a very scary situation. So again, respect to them for doing that. But here, I will give them their praises that this is a good product if you're worried about those chest injuries. One of the last reasons you should care about them is they are trusted by tons of NFL players right now. The most notable one is obviously going to be Lamar Jackson. He always wears them in his post-game interviews. He keeps it on. They do not sponsor him, but you can see he's always wearing it. You can always tell by that gray material. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, almost every Ravens player actually wears this in practice. So it's like a team mandated thing where all of them wear it in practice, and a ton of them carry that over to the game as well. Jason Kelce also started to wear it as he got older and wanted to protect that body more. Najee Harris still wears it. And if you didn't notice in the Najee photo, there's actually a Beast Mode logo in the middle of it. Now, in the same way that Marshawn Lynch has partnered to make the Beast Mode cleats, he's also partnering with Zoombang to have that Beast Mode on there as well. So the dude is just a marketing machine. But anyways, he wore this as well, apparently. Anyways, that's it. We think this is a fantastic product. You should check it out for yourself. Again, we will have links to them down below. If you want to learn anything more, leave a comment down below and we'll answer all your questions. Again, you guys will see a lot more of them on the channel in the near future. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time.